Hello and welcome to this review of Hornby's HM 6000 DC app circuit controller. Just be opening it today, and my plan is to use it. It doesn't come with a transformer included. You can get this from around 22 to 30 something euro, but you will need a transformer power supply. So my plan today is to use it with this laptop with an adapter set, adapter transformer, that I think should be within the right voltage and amp range. Of course, you have to be careful not to use the wrong transformer, or you might brick your new controller. I won't give any advice on what voltages and amps to use, but I'm not confident enough to do that. But I do think I've chosen a suitable one here, and I just have a old mobile phone of mine, which I'll be dedicating to running to controlling the HM 6000 with. So this will always be on my layout. I just prefer the idea of that rather than driving a train and getting a message or whatever. So just a dedicated controller will hopefully work well. I have an existing Gauge Master controller. Here it is. I think it's the Gauge Master one anyway. I bought it secondhand on eBay a while ago, and it's been really great. I really like it. One feature I like is that it has inertia and slow start and braking simulation on the two controllers for two of my tracks. So that's kind of really fun to use, just a bit more realistic, and that's one thing I like about the Hornby HM 6000. It also has those features, so that should be fun. So my plan is to mount my phone. I've got my points and this controller, and I have 4 circuits in total, so maybe I'll mount the phone here or here to control the 4 circuits, and of course I can lift it out and walk around the layout with it, which should be nice. Okay, so let's have a look at what's inside the box. So you get an instruction manual, quick start guide, warranty business, and so here's the HM 6000. So you got your power in there from your transformer, which again is not included with the with it, and Hornby are charging quite a lot for it, almost as much as the controller itself. So you can probably get better value on buying a generic one on Amazon or whatever, and I'm hoping to save money there by using my own laptop transformer. So yeah, we got the lights. I think they'll tell me when Bluetooth and power is connected, and you can control 2 circuits, circuit 1 and 2. It comes with the Hornby connector. I'll probably have to cut the wires and solder them to wires I already have set up going to my track. Okay, so let's first of all plug in the transformer and hope it works. Hope it doesn't fry this thing. Let's find that out. So the HM 6000, Hornby sell 2 adapters for it, both 15 volt, and one 1 amp and one 4 amp. The 4 amp one being for more power, so I presume you can run more trains on more circuits. So I've set this variable transformer to 15 volts, and its max ampage is 4.5. So it should be less than 4 volts, which is 4 amps, sorry, which this should be able to handle. So just have to look at the DC in here and find one of these that fits it. Could be this one. No, that's no good. That should be. Okay, so that's the right size. So we should be laughing with that. So this is plugged in. We'll bring power to it and see what happens. Fingers go. Okay, we've got a red power on. Briefly saw the blue, which I presume is Bluetooth. Let's just try that again. Okay, so it's telling me it's going off. Yeah, okay, so I suppose this LED was just telling us it's working. And now we've power going to it. No strange sounds, no smoke, no noises. Alright, so hopefully that's working. Famous last words maybe. Okay, so now I'll hook these up to one of my tracks and we'll try and connect it to the app, see how it's working. Next I'm just going to try changing the in settings. Bluetooth mode is set to mesh, which I've never heard of before, but standard BLE I do. Okay, let's see if that helps. BLE actions connected successfully. Okay, that sounds good. So change from mesh to BLE connection type. All right. Okay, go away. So circuit 1, speed, brake stop, change direction. Oh my God, we have life. Very good. And it's nice and responsive, I must say. Wow. Okay, so we're set up and running. I've reversed the polarity of the Hornby power wires going into my track, just so that these directional controls align with what we're seeing. But yeah, it's a very nice interface. You've got your speed. I see a blurry train in the background. There we are. And we can, oops, sorry, stop it, reverse direction, bring it up again, and it should come back to us. But it's very nicely responsive, I must say. Very responsive. So we just hooked up to a little rake. And yeah, the stop function is very quick. You can slow it down gradually by pressing brake. And we're stuck. Give me 2 secs. So sorry about that. That was just some dirty track. Giving it a clean. An emergency stop cuts power to any track it's hooked up to, which is a really good idea. And we can resume from where we were. Wow, yeah, very good. Okay. Okay, let's set our running. So yeah, it's really nice and responsive. I'm not sure yet whether I prefer touchscreen to the physical knobs of a more traditional controller. So this is the second half of my HM6000 app-based controller review, and while I have liked it, I've decided after a few months of ownership to replace it. So firstly, just to talk about its the pros. You know, it is great value for money. For one gadget, you get to control 2 circuits. It's a nice interface in the phone. It's untethered, so you can walk about your layout, you know, which is great. And also it has braking inertia and acceleration. and deceleration inertia that's adjustable, so that's great. I'm a big fan of that. I use it a lot on my Gauge Master controller. So it certainly has some very positive aspects. However, there are cons too. For me, the main con was that the connection between the phone app and the device itself keeps dropping, the Bluetooth connection. So it happens at least every 5 minutes while operating the layout, sometimes more. Also, the train will short circuit very easily, and other controllers I have don't do that at all. So it's a very interrupted sort of experience using it. The slider as well for controlling the speed of the loco, from around here the loco might not even crawl, and then up to here you're almost at full speed. So it's a very badly calibrated, and she's off. It's quite a badly calibrated power delivery, I think, especially compared to, let's say, this Gauge Master, where you get excellent feedback throughout the range. Also, it's makes some locos very noisy, especially some older ones I have, and even some not so old ones. So this Santa Fe now, if I put it up on the circuit control by the H&M, you can see it's ridiculously noisy. And running on the Gauge Master control circuit, it's whisper quiet, So, and then the last con for me is, it's a personal one. I found out I just prefer a tactile interface, knobs you can feel, and so you don't have to be looking at the controller while you're adjusting speed. You can keep looking at the layout. With the H&M, I find I have to look down and see in order to engage the slider and see where I'm putting it. So I much prefer using a tactile interface like this. And then actually I picked up this one from the 80s, also another H&M controller, a walkabout, so you're not tethered to the layout, obviously much more lo-fi, but it's got braking and acceleration and deceleration inertia. Here's your speed, it's got a braking button and your direction. So this has been great to use. So I've already replaced one of the loops that I was using the H&M 6000 to control with this walkabout controller, and this top line is the last loop I'm controlling with the H&M 6000, and I'll be replacing it with this Gauge Master, also walkabout, but it's the WS model, so it has simulation as well, so you can engage or not engage the simulation. Here's your brake button, so I'm really looking forward to getting that set up. So that's the end of my long-term review. Let me know if your experience has been very different. I'd be genuinely interested to find, maybe I'm missing a trick with it, and maybe it's the power source I'm using for it that is causing the drop connections. So let me know how it's been for you if you've been using one. Thanks for listening.